Hey, Mike here. I just wanted to let you know that you can listen to Dark Poutine early and ad-free on Amazon Music, included with Prime.
You're about to listen to a historical episode of Dark Poutine. After episode 149, you will find Scott is no longer with the show. In an effort to maintain continuity and offer listeners as many episodes as possible, we are leaving the episodes in which he co-hosted intact. Thank you. Welcome to Dark Poutine. I'm Mike Brown, creator and host. With me as usual is my good friend and co-host, Scott Hemingway. Say hello, Scott.
Oh, hello, world. It is wonderful to not hear or see you currently. That sounds terrible. That sounded terrible. It's, hi, everybody. It's great to see you.
I'm still going to leave that in.
Yeah, well, as you should.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during the Dark Poutine podcast are solely those of the producer and do not necessarily represent those of Curious Cast, its affiliate Global News, nor their parent company, Chorus Entertainment.
Dark Poutine is not for the faint of heart or squeamish. Listener discretion is strongly advised. We're not experts on the topics we present, nor are we journalists. We're two ordinary Canadians chatting about crime and the dark side of history. Let's get to it. Put on your toque, grab yourself a double-double and an Nanaimo bar. It's time to scarf down some Dark Poutine.
Scarf.
Very yummy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think you saw that Instagram story. Somebody sent them, like they were having an Nanaimo bar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ever since I saw that, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm craving a Nanaimo bar.
It looked really good. Listeners who feel they are in crisis can contact the crisis text line in Canada by texting HOME to 686868. In the US or UK, text 741-741. You'll be matched with a volunteer counselor who is supervised by a licensed trained mental health professional. Crisis text line is free 24/7 support for those in crisis. For more information, please go to crisistextline.ca in Canada or crisistextline.org globally. Let's get on with the show.
Let's do that.
Sharron Prior was a happy 16-year-old high school student. She disappeared on Saturday, March 29, 1975, from the Montreal neighbourhood of Point St. Charles, where she lived with her family. She said goodbye to her mother, left her house, and walked off to meet friends at a pizza joint only 5 blocks away. That was the last time Sharron was seen alive.
God, that's so close. 5 blocks. That's not far.
Not at all.
Jeez.
3 days later, on April Fool's Day, Sharron Prior's battered body was found in a field in the suburb of Longueuil, which was across the St. Lawrence River from her home. She had been raped and murdered. Her death remains unsolved.
Oh, Jesus.
This is episode 130, Who Killed Sharron Prior?
Oh, unsolved ones, oh boy.
Much of the information I was able to gather about Sharron Prior's early life comes from a few sources, one of which is a beautifully written article by true crime author Michelle McNamara.
Okay.
Michelle,
Yes.
as many of you know, wrote the book about the Golden State Killer called I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Yeah, she passed away near completion of the book.
That's right, in 2016. Her post about Sharron, with information provided to her by the Prior family, fleshes out Sharron's story. It also talks about the day she disappeared and the aftermath. We'll link to Michelle's post and other sources in our show notes. Sharron's case is also covered in the 7th episode of a 2019 French-language TV program called Sur les traces d'un tueur en série, or On the Tracks of a Serial Killer, which is much easier for me to say.
It's much easier for me to hear.
Right. I had to translate that. In that show, Sharron's family and friends describe what she was like and talk about their experience at the time of her murder and their feelings since. It's well worth a look if you subscribe to the streaming service Crave here in Canada.
Oh.
If you are as rusty with French as I am, don't worry. Sharron's loved ones give their interviews en anglais, but the rest of the show is in French. There are no English subtitles, which in my opinion is a faux pas, as the series would definitely cross over well to English audiences.
It was my initial thought, just as you mentioned, oh my God, that's on Crave. I would like to go watch that, but then
No
my
English
French
subtitles.
is so terrible.
Yeah.
But will closed captioning?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no subtitles. The closed captions are French.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Yeah, that's not good. Or, yeah.
C'est de la merde.
Mon Dieu. News reports on this case are spotty, as not a lot of outlets seem to have their stories from around that era archived online. Newspapers.com has a few, but not a lot. Allo Police, a French language publication, for example, covered the case extensively in their April 1975 issue. However, there's a large gap in their online archives at that time, including that specific issue, which, perhaps, given the information that was contained in it, might have jarred someone's memory. So
that could have been very...
get with it, Allo Police.
Yeah. Goodbye, police.
Exactly. Sharon's mother, Yvonne, was born in England and emigrated to Montreal as a little girl. Yvonne met George Prior when he was a private in the Canadian Armed Forces. The two fell in love and married. They were over the moon when their first daughter, Sharron Kim Prior, was born on February 9th, 1959. In the Crave TV show, Sharon's identical twin sisters can be seen standing in a doorway of the family home reminiscing about their sister. They told a sweet story about Sharon's reaction to their birth, which was the day before her second birthday. Apparently, fun-loving little Sharron believed that Maureen and Doreen were her very own birthday present.
Oh my God, that is so sweet.
Yeah, right?
Oh, so sweet.
As with most military families, George Prior received a transfer, and this was to Manitoba, and away from Yvonne's beloved Point St. Charles, the Montreal neighborhood where she grew up. The locals called that area simply the Point, and it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. George Jr., the youngest of the Prior children, was born in Manitoba. They nicknamed him Jojo, and Sharron had another sibling to dote on. Jojo. There were already cracks in the marriage, and in 1966, Yvonne and George separated, and Yvonne moved back to the Point with her 4 young children in tow. Everyone has described Sharron as sweet, kind, and generous. Photos linked on the website SharronPrior.com, maintained by her family, show a playful, blonde-haired girl with a shy smile and a warm, welcoming face. And we're looking at a photo of her.
Yeah, it reminds me of Violet.
Yeah.
Who just turned 13 today.
Just turned 13. Michelle McNamara wrote, quote, Sharron was a gentle girl, caring and responsible, like a little old lady, her mother laughs. She loved animals and would take in strays, tending to them and nursing them back to health. The family was once given some turtles from the country, and Sharron decided that they needed a proper place to thrive. Yvonne can still see her in the backyard, surrounded by turtles, building them a special turtle house. End quote.
I would like turtles.
The chocolate?
That is one of my favorite. But no, also just I've always liked the idea of having turtles.
Just don't lick it, you'll get salmonella.
Too late.
From an article about the case on the Defrosting Cold Cases website, quote, according to her twin sisters, Doreen and Maureen, Sharron wanted to become a veterinarian.
Jesus, also like 5. But I think a lot of young kids want to be vets.
Yeah,
but
I did too, but that was because my dad was a
vet.
vet.
You had some, a direct line to said veterinarian
to vet
world.
Them. Yeah,
vet them.
In one photo, Sharron can be seen wearing a graduation cap and gown. The producers of the Crave TV documentary asked Sharron's mother about the photo. At the time that it was taken, Yvonne was running a used clothing store where she gave out garments to people in need. Sharron, who was 13, spotted the outfit in the bin, put it on, and pretended to graduate as she posed for Yvonne, snapping pictures outside their home.
Look how adorable that is.
Very adorable. Yvonne had no idea in that second that she would never get to see this moment repeated at Sharron's actual graduation. My guess is that she cherishes this picture very much.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Sharron was actively involved in the Boys and Girls Club through the YMCA as she entered her teens. She can be seen beaming from ear to ear in one photo, sitting at a kitchen table, her hand proudly atop the trophy she had earned playing floor hockey.
It's just adorable.
Yeah. Sharron was one of the most popular girls around the point. In the Crave TV show, her friends described her as the prettiest girl in their group, although one said jokingly, no, I don't think she was. But
Jokingly.
yeah, it was like, hey, wait a minute, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Her closest pals said she was very sweet, nice, and kind. They went on to say that the point was the best place to grow up and that it was a very close-knit community. Everyone looked out for one another. They said they felt safe there before Sharron was found murdered because nothing bad had ever happened there before.
It's really, really something how such a terrible crime, how a murder can change the scope of a town.
Yeah.
Like it could, such traumatic events like that can dramatically change how everybody feels and lives in a community.
Totally. I didn't ever know anybody who was murdered or anything like that in my hometown until later on in life, there was a murder of a person who I used to serve at the store that I worked in. But it didn't affect me like it probably would have had I been a child when that happened.
Yeah.
Your wife went through that. We talked to her about that on one of our shows, but definitely seems to have colored her experience of her school life after that.
Absolutely. You hear it over and over. You hear it from fellow residents of whatever city they live in, that you often hear like, oh yeah, no, after that we all started locking our doors. We never did before. We made sure our kids, there was always somebody looking after the kids, wouldn't let them, like, it just changes how a town operates.
Yeah, and it's sad because it is only one event, but the impact of that one event is often quite massive, especially if it's as tragic as this one.
It just goes to show the impact of a trauma. We talked about it before. It's not just the person. It's not just the one victim.
No.
And then you've got the family, and then you've got the friends, and then you've got the neighbors. It spreads. The impact of a trauma just spreads widely.
Michelle McNamara posted a brief excerpt from Sharron's diary, written soon after her 16th birthday party, just over a month before Sharron disappeared. In it, Sharron mentions her boyfriend John, whom she had liked since the 4th grade. It really gives some insight into what was going on with Sharron at that moment and what kind of girl she was. Here it is, quote, "They played and sang Sweet 16 and put mine and John's name into it. I was so embarrassed. And John was really embarrassed. I think my mother's so good to me." End quote.
There's nothing more embarrassing than having your love broadcast publicly in front of others, and when you're a teenager.
When you're a teenager?
Yeah, that's you're just going to, oh my God.
It's like your worst nightmare coming true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. I can't wait to do that to my kids.
Yeah. I think we should mess with your kids to no end.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. The website SharronPrior.com gives a timeline written in the first person of her moments on March 29th, 1975. This is the day she vanished. See our show notes for the link, or go to SharronPrior.com. That's Sharron with 2 R's. SHARRON Prior.com. Sharron got up that Saturday morning and had breakfast. She washed, dressed, and made her bed as usual. Yvonne went shopping to get extras that she needed for the Easter dinner. She also brought home chocolate eggs and goodies for the kids. I know, I'm all about the chocolate eggs and the goodies.
Yeah. Well,
and also the Easter dinner.
Just food in general, I'm all about.
That afternoon, Sharron decided to make and paint Easter eggs for the younger boys. Jojo, Sharon's 11-year-old brother, and Stephen, a 4-year-old that the family was fostering at the time.
Wow.
And they were excited to go searching for Easter eggs on Easter Sunday.
Who wouldn't be?
I know my dad used to hide them all over the place with a note.
Mm-hmm.
If you found one thing, you would find a note leading to the next thing.
Yeah, we still do it with the kids. Although we're getting pretty lazy about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like a pile of chocolate eggs on the floor.
Yeah, well, they're probably thinking like the twins, Maureen and Doreen, who were 14 at the time. They were a little too old for that tradition, so...
Yeah, but you're still jazzed about candy.
Yeah, exactly. But Sharron wanted to make a good Easter for the kids.
Yeah.
So she hard-boiled 8 eggs, let them cool, and when Yvonne came home, she sat at the kitchen table and watched Sharron lovingly paint the eggs.
Oh.
Sharron sounded like a good egg, excuse the pun.
Well, it's apt.
Yeah.
She really does.
Sharron asked Yvonne if the paint would be dry by the morning, and Yvonne suggested that Sharron paint half the eggs in egg cups and then turn them over and finish them later when that half was dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne loved Easter because it means spring weather, blooming flowers, birds singing, children with skipping ropes, and paddle balls. You know.
Yeah. It took me a second in my noggin there.
She used bolo bats as the
utensil, the device.
Instead of paddle balls,
pad.
she called them bolo bats. But
okay,
yeah,
whatever. I'm sure it worked.
After Sharron finished painting half the Easter egg, she was off to pick up her Leo's Boys jacket at the Boys and Girls Club. Leo's Boys Sports Association was founded by Joe Mell, whose brother, Leo, had died at age 17 after battling leukemia.
Well, you just answered my what's a Leo Boys jacket. So
well, that's why I put it in there.
Yeah.
According to the Montreal Gazette, quote, "There was a time in the point when you couldn't walk more than a few feet without running into a kid wearing a green jacket with Leo's Boys on the crest." Leo's Boys started out in 1952 with 2 teams and 30 kids, but at its peak had 110 teams with almost 1,000 kids participating in hockey, baseball, football, and boxing. Every one of those kids got a green Leo's Boys jacket, and none of it cost their families a penny.
Wow.
All the money for Leo's Boys was raised from donations and fundraising events in the community, with kids required to sell raffle tickets, end quote.
Oh, my heart.
Well, Sharron, who had been going to the club since she was 6 and now belonged to the teen center, really wanted one of those jackets.
Yeah.
So she had sold enough raffle tickets to finally earn herself one of these coveted coats.
Mm-hmm.
She asked Yvonne if she could take little Stephen, the 4-year-old, with her. And after getting her mom's permission, off they went, her foster brother there at her side.
Oh, that's adorable.
When she got to the club, she was disappointed to find out that they didn't have the jacket in her size. They promised it wouldn't be too long and gave her a receipt so that she could pick it up another day.
Yeah.
Always thinking of others, she thought maybe ordering a smaller size for Stephen because he didn't have a spring coat that fit him properly. And also, being selfless, she took her friend's jacket and dropped it off on the way home.
Oh, my God.
What a good, I say, a good egg.
Oh, I'm going to cry already.
Sharron went home and continued painting Easter eggs. The family's reverend dropped by for a quick visit to say hello and wish them a happy Easter. He brought the kids a big box of chocolate turtles, just like Scott likes. They sat around the kitchen table while Sharron painted the eggs. So everybody chatting around the table. Like, I can't picture anything more idyllic.
I just took the words right out of my... and I'll tell you, I could eat an entire box or 2 of those turtles in one sitting.
They're really, really good. Sharron asked Yvonne if there was a book in the house that she could read to little Stephen about the Easter Bunny. But before Yvonne could answer, the Reverend said, "Why don't you tell him how Easter really came about, Sharron?" And Sharron smiled and said that she would. The Reverend soon left as it was almost supper time. Yvonne, her mother, the twins, Jojo, Stephen, Doug, Yvonne's friend, and Sharron sat down for supper. It was stew. Yvonne remembered that none of the kids really liked stew.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't like it so much when I was a kid.
My mom used to make stew all the time. It was so good.
Yeah. Sharron ate a little anyway, but said she was really looking forward to the big turkey dinner next day.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I love a turkey dinner
This is just all sounding so amazing, but you just like
you know what's coming.
Yeah, which just breaks my fading heart.
Yeah. After supper, Sharron washed the dishes. Maureen and Doreen dried. There's a lot of pictures of them all together, and Sharron will be the big sister kind of in between them, and the other two girls are like bookends dressed in exactly the same outfits.
My God.
Oh, it's always so cute. Sharron then placed the Easter eggs that she had finished painting on a shelf out of Stephen's reach so he wouldn't break them.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah. Sharron told Yvonne she was going to go meet her girlfriends at Marina's Pizzeria, a local teen hangout only 5 blocks away at 2050 Wellington Street on the corner of Avenue Ash. There, at Marina's, the kids would talk about music, like Elton John, one of Sharon's favorite artists, and, of course, they would talk about boys.
Of course.
Yvonne asked Sharron, was her boyfriend John going to be there? But Sharron said she wasn't really sure, but you know, she was just going to hang out with her friends. It wasn't super important whether he'd be there or not.
These were big things to do in smaller towns at that point in time. You're going to go hang out with your friends. You're going to go to a place and hang out with your friends.
For us, it was there were 2 arcades. One was called the Crystal Ball, and the other one was called the Pinball Palace.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And they were both bad places. And I would always smell like smoke when I came home.
Oh, my God.
And my mother would say, "Are you smoking?" And I would just say, "No, everybody else is." But I was actually smoking.
I didn't really have, like, it would be 7-Eleven for me. My friends, we'd be those goofs hanging outside.
Hooligans?
Hanging outside of 7-Eleven doing
There you go.
7-Eleven things.
Between 6 and 7 p.m., Sharon's girlfriend, a girl from the same block, came to the house and hung out as Sharron got ready to go out. Although they had been friends for a long time, the other girl didn't hang around with Sharon's high school friends, perhaps as they now both went to different schools. And that's what happens.
Yep.
The girls joked and giggled as Sharron kept changing tops, looking at herself in the mirror to make sure she looked okay.
Because if you're going out with your friends, you want to make sure you're looking good and you're looking cute and, comfortable, and absolutely.
None of the tops seemed to work, so Sharron borrowed a blue one from Yvonne.
Story of my life.
Sharron was a little worried about wearing her brown suede jacket because it was raining outside, but Yvonne said that it was just drizzling, so it should be fine. At around 7:10 p.m., Sharron left her home at 445 Rue de la Congrégation in Pointe Saint Charles. She said, "Goodbye, Mum." As she went out the door, Yvonne said goodbye and told her, as she always did with all her kids, be careful. As the neighborhood girl was about to head off home, she asked Sharron if she would like some company for the walk to Marina's. Sharron said kindly, "No, thanks anyway," then crossed the street and went on her way. Sharron Prior never made it to the pizza shop. And we will take a break right here. And we're back. Thoughts?
Oh, man. What a way to go into a break. It's so terrifying. I know I've talked about my kids over and over.
You can't help but relate to them as a parent.
And I'm constantly thinking about, like, every day, one of my kids wants to go in the playground. Okay, yeah, have fun, be careful. And just the thought that for somebody, like that was the last thing spoken to their children, said to their children. And, because it's just you're not... You would go crazy to be thinking every single time your kid goes out, that could be the last.
Some people do.
It's just,
and what an awful way to live.
It absolutely is. And so you become paranoid, and it just, those thoughts control your life.
And control your child too. Like, a kid will grow up with no sense of freedom and a lot of fear in their own lives.
Yeah. Statistically, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they might get hurt, like fall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But statistically, they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But for those few who have to live with this. Oh my God. Just thinking about, okay, sweetheart, love you. Be safe. And then that's it.
Yeah. Sharron didn't show up at the restaurant. Her friends just assumed she'd gone to the Montreal Forum for a hockey game with John and the rest of the guys who they hung around with. When the boys came into the restaurant after the game, Sharron was not with them. They said they had not seen her at all that night. When Sharron didn't show up for curfew, Yvonne began to worry. This was not like her. Around 1:30 a.m., she watched out the window for her eldest daughter as the twins kept watch out the upstairs window. Sharron never came. Yvonne began calling around to see if anybody had seen Sharron. No one had. Sometime later, Yvonne's phone rang. It was Sharron's friend, Mary. Mary told Yvonne that she had heard that a woman had been attacked in the neighborhood around 7 o'clock the night before. The man had been startled by someone coming to the other woman's aid, and he had taken off down an alleyway. As Sharron was still not home and would have been walking in that very area at that very time, Yvonne began to feel a sense of panic.
No kidding.
A search was organized for Sharron, and many residents of the point came out to look for the missing 16-year-old. Yvonne was interviewed in a TV news report pleading for Sharron's safe return. She did not come, and there was no sign of her. The days dragged by for Yvonne and the rest of the family and Sharron's friends. Yvonne told the producers of the Crave TV series, that a couple of days later, at 6 a.m. in the morning, she saw a man knocking on the door of her friend who lived right across the street. He had a newspaper under his arm, and he was just looking around. Yvonne called out to him through the window, "Ronnie, why are you up so early?" Ronnie said, "Nothing, Yvonne, nothing," and kept knocking. Yvonne's gut told her something was really wrong.
Oh my, yeah.
So she ran downstairs and outside. Ronnie came across the street to meet her, and when she got close enough, she grabbed the newspaper from him and bolted back into the house and upstairs. She recalls Ronnie yelling after her, "No, Yvonne, don't look at it, don't look at it."
Oh my God.
Yvonne said, "I had the newspaper, I opened it up, and there's a picture of my daughter. I knew it was her, I knew her shoes, I knew her shoes. It was in the newspaper, the Montreal Matin." What she was looking at was a photo of a body that had been found in the snow in Longueuil, a suburb across the river.
So just so I'm clear, it was a photo printed in the newspaper, not like I thought for a second maybe he had another photo.
No, it was a photo printed in the newspaper.
So she's seeing a photo of her daughter's body in. Oh my!
She continued, "That's how I saw it. Nobody came to speak with me." She phoned the police for confirmation.
Oh.
Yvonne was too distraught to go make the identification herself. She said she could hardly stand, so her brother went instead. It was Sharron.
Oh my God. I would just be tearing a strip out of everybody. The police, the meat, like, oh my God. What a goddamn way to have the news broken to you.
It's irresponsible.
It's disgusting.
Right?
It's disgusting. At no point in time did anybody think, before we do this,
to contact
let's
the mother
contact the mom
of the little girl who everybody's looking
did
for?
Nobody think that. Did the press, did they at least say to the officers, hey, does the mom know? Did the officers ever say, hey, is anybody like...
I guess the answer is no.
It's just egregious and disgusting, and I hope everybody involved was ashamed.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Sharron's friends had seen the photo too. They all knew who the body was. So here are these little girls, these young girls looking at the body of their friend, and that's the way they find out in the newspaper.
God.
15, 16-year-old girls are finding out their friend was murdered by a newspaper article.
By seeing their dead friend in a newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm pissed.
Yeah. On Tuesday, April 1st, 1975, a Longueuil firefighter and beekeeper named Jacques Bertrand was notified that the lock on the gate to the apiary where he kept his bees was open. The gate was put in place to keep people from using the lot in the industrial area as a garbage dump. Upon arrival, Bertrand found the padlock hanging there, unlocked. He wasn't sure whether or not he had locked it when he left. He thought he had, but maybe he didn't.
I can understand. Oh, shit, it's unlocked? Oh, did I forget to lock it? Yeah, absolutely.
He went on into the access road to investigate. What he found was a young woman's body, nude from the waist down, laying in the snow about 75 feet from the road. Longueuil police responded and cordoned off the area, starting their investigation. There were tire tracks 15 feet from the body and footprints in the snow nearby. A blood trail led from where the car had been to the body, and there was a lack of drag marks. Police believe that the girl's body had been carried there by two people and that she was alive when they left her there. The girl was holding a branch in one hand, and her legs were bent in such a way that it appeared she had been trying to pull herself up. But she was too weak and had died soon after.
God damn it.
Near the support post of the fence, the police took a footprint of a right foot. It was the foot of a man wearing a shoe size 8.5 and weighing about 200 pounds. The body was dressed in a suede coat, a blue sweater, socks, and shoes. From Michelle McNamara's article, her jeans lay a few feet away. Her underwear hung from some nearby branches as if her killer tossed them from the car as an afterthought. End quote. The girl had been badly beaten about the face, and there were choke marks on her neck. Investigators found partially chewed tape entangled in the girl's bloody hair. They assumed that it may have been used to gag her. A man's shirt was also found, and it was assumed that that was used to bind the girl. A ring with the word love inscribed on it was also found there. Not far from the body was a page from an English magazine with a photo of a young girl and a gun. It's unclear whether this was related to the crime. The receipt for a Leo's Boys jacket was found at the scene with Sharron Prior's name on it. Although not confirmed yet, they knew who this was.
Yeah. That's
and
good.
yet they still did not contact her mom.
I'm just so, that's one of the more disgusting things. It's really, I don't know why it's really hitting me and resonating so hard with me, but it's really pissing me off.
Yeah.
Really pissing me off. And I'm curious, and I'm sure you'll get to it. Okay, if the gate was unlocked, whomever did this must have had a key. If the firefighter beekeeper, maybe he actually did forget to lock it, and
nobody knows to this day that the answer to that question is not no.
Really?
Yep.
Because he could have just forgot to unlock it. People are creatures of habit, and I suspect this beekeeper, I don't know why I'm assuming, but I would suspect that he's somebody who's got just this habit of putting, you follow a routine.
I don't know. I've done things absent-mindedly before.
For sure. What? No.
Yeah. I was a security guard and I've left doors unlocked.
Yeah. So for sure, I'm just trying to think a locked gate that was unlocked.
Yep. A pathologist at the scene placed Sharron's time of death only 20 hours prior to her discovery. This led investigators to conclude that she may have been held somewhere for days before she died.
Oh, my Jesus.
Sharron had been brutally sexually assaulted and beaten before being left to die where she was found. She died of asphyxiation from blood pooling in her lungs. It was suspected that her killer had crushed her chest by kneeling on it. Some of the injuries on Sharron's face seemed to have come from someone striking her with something pointed, perhaps a ring. From defrostingcoldcases.com, quote, she had several bruises on her face and 2 fractures on her jaw on both sides of her mouth. Her nose was broken, and there was a hole in one cheek, probably caused by a tooth that was loosened during the struggle. End quote.
Not that any of it makes sense to me, but why the fuck do you need to senselessly beat a person? Damn near. If she ended up dying from the injury, so beat her to death.
Yeah. But if you look at it, that is part of the thrill for these psychopaths.
It could also be a very strong sign of how fiercely she was fighting back, and whoever it was felt that they needed to try to like stop her and beat her. So I get that there's so many reasons why a disgusting sack of shit like this may have done that, but this poor girl.
Nearly 200 mourners, friends and family, packed the chapel at St. Matthew's Presbyterian Church for Sharron's funeral on April 4th, 1975. Just broken people.
Mm-hmm. With 200 people there at the funeral, we see it time and time again. How I guarantee you that the killer was there. We see time and time again how that is the case. They show up all the time. They want to either gloat or
they just feel some connection to it, or they want to see others in pain.
Yeah.
If they're sadistic.
But so many times we hear about how they show up to these things. And so it's just, I don't know, there's just something so uncomfortable and creepy about that thought that these people are there to mourn.
Right.
They're feeling incredible pain because of something you did. But that's exactly why they typically go.
Yeah. 13 months after the murder, Detective Sergeant Jacques Dutrisse said that police had interviewed 38 people. 6 of these witnesses were detained, and each one of them appeared to be a good suspect in the crime at the time. But police had to release them when the interviews did not produce any useful evidence at all. Yvonne and her family have remained active in the search for Sharron's killer for the 45 years since it's happened. Yvonne has been involved in assisting other Montreal mothers dealing with the homicides of their own daughters. There are many unsolved cases dating back to the time of Sharron's murder, leading many to speculate one or more serial killers had been operating in the area. They also speculate that many of the cases are connected. In 2000, Yvonne wrote to police to ask them to look at DNA collected from samples in Sharron's homicide, and they promised they would. A week later, though, Yvonne got a letter back in French. The gist of it, translated, said, "We regret not being able to accede to your request for a DNA test. However, we will always keep the file open. If some new information is provided to us, we will analyze it and, if necessary, reopen the request." They had thrown out the DNA in 1995. Yvonne said she wept when she read this letter.
1995, DNA was an available science. It wasn't as easily accessible and used as it is now. But I could see if it was 1982, they got rid of it when DNA wasn't really a thing. And so...
No, they kept it for all those years and tossed it.
At the time when the technology was catching up or caught up to being able to utilize...
Yep. Yvonne pressed the Longueuil police to look for Sharron's clothing, and sure enough, they still had it. So, thankfully, after more than 4 years of analysis, when the technology finally improved, as we mentioned, DNA not belonging to Sharron Prior was found on the clothing she had been wearing.
Oh, okay.
In July 2004, on a tip that led police to execute a search warrant on a garage behind an apartment building on Favard Street, DNA samples were discovered there and taken away to be analyzed. Yvonne and family hoped against hope that this might lead to a break in the case, but the DNA did not match any of the samples from Sharron's crime scene, including her own.
Oh, shit.
It was another dead end. But there's no clarification what that tip was, who it was about, any of that kind of thing, because the police, as it's still an open investigation here in Canada, police will play that very close to the vest.
So you mentioned at the crime scene, there was also a male shirt.
Yep.
There. I'm curious.
They probably got DNA from that, or who knows?
I would be thinking that's would be a very good resource.
That may be one of the items that they've thrown away, because it was Sharron's clothing that was left over.
That's where I was hoping to also hear in the shirt, but wow.
In April of 2012, there was an article titled "Mother Hunts a Killer" in the National Post. It quotes Yvonne speaking again of Sharron's murder and her desire to find the killer. It reads in part, quote, "This week, police announced an anonymous donor has stepped forward to offer a $10,000 reward. Police also set up a fresh command post in Point St. Charles and set up a dedicated phone line. So maybe there was some activity going on, again, that they're not telling anybody. I believe in my heart that someone somewhere knows something," Yvonne says. "When people learn about how many hours and how much time she devotes to Sharron's case and all of the other families of other missing children she's in contact with, they'll sometimes ask why she doesn't just let it go, especially after all these years." And she said, "I even had a lady say, 'You have other children, but each of your children is special. All children are special. And my contact with these other families, the bond that we share as parents of these missing and murdered children, is that we help to keep a spotlight on each other's cases," end quote.
I'd be so insulted by that question, or if somebody were to bring that up, like, move on.
Yeah.
Move on from the loss of a child.
It's ridiculous.
Like, how dare you? I would get extremely...
I would be not above probably slapping that person.
Well, it would be so difficult to restrain yourself from that. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. The attack on the other woman in the Point became a really important lead in the case. The woman who was attacked was 23-year-old Cheryl Roy. A man wielding a knife grabbed her, but before he could hurt Cheryl, another woman scared the man off, and he ran off down the alleyway. From Defrosting Cold Cases, quote, "He had blue eyes, and the mustache he had was squared at the corners of his mouth. He was dressed in blue jeans with cuffs, a dark blue ski jacket, and black shoes with pointed toes. Cheryl did not smell any signs of liquor on his breath, and he spoke in a low, calm voice. This was obviously not his first attack." A local woman who was a girl at the time of the attack had been the one to assist Cheryl Roy that day. The producers of the Crave TV series had the woman hypnotized to try and remember more details of that day. Later, producers sent her photographs. One seemed to stand out. It was a photo of a Canadian serial killer we have yet to cover on this show. His name is William Patrick Fife. Born on February 27, 1955, Fife, a former handyman, is a Canadian serial killer who has been convicted of killing 5 women in the Montreal area of Quebec. Although he claims to have killed 4 others, he alleged that he killed his first victim in 1979 at the age of 24. He would have been 20 when Sharron was killed. We are unaware whether Fife's DNA has been compared to samples from Sharron's murder case.
You would have to imagine, like, why have the DNA at this point if you wouldn't compare?
Right. I would assume that it has been, because if Dark Poutine is the ones that makes the cops think of William Fife, then
fire them all.
They really do need to be fired.
So I would have to believe that they have tested it.
Well, you would like to think that.
I would like to.
I am not assuming anything anymore when it comes to what we talk about here. Because time and time again, we are surprised. Like, really? They didn't do that? No, they didn't do that. There have been a few other amateur investigators who have attempted to link Sharron's murder with that of others over the years. There have also been confessions. In Peter Edwards' book about the Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club in Montreal, the book is called Hard Road, there's a brief mention of Sharron's murder. Quote, "One of the more frightening Montreal Satan's Choice members was Mike French, who was born in 1950. French, who was nicknamed Crazy Mike, was a product of the Queen's School in Lower Westmount and the Weardale House Boys' Home in West End, Montreal. The boys' home was closed in 1977. French was very active in the bikers' wars against the Popeyes. I guess that's another gang.
Not the chicken shop.
No. He was found murdered in November 1982 in Ganawake. He is said to have boasted about killing Sharron Prior in Point St. Charles 7 years before his death. French's suspected killer was a hitman in the West End gang, but the murder was never solved. The killing was considered by many to be, quote, a sort of a community service,
Yeah.
end quote.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. In 2019, Yvonne was in the news again, still fighting for justice for Sharron. The article in the Montreal Gazette by Michelle Lalonde reads in part, quote, the families of 9 young women who went missing or were found slain in the Montreal region decades ago are denouncing Public Security Minister Geneviève Guilbeault for refusing to meet with them to discuss their proposed changes to the way police investigate major crimes. The article goes on to say they are upset that cold case DNA evidence was just tossed away by the police. They want that practice to cease.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty common sense to me.
Doesn't sound like rocket surgery.
No.
Yvonne Prior said, I do not want this horrible incompetence to be experienced by other families in the future. That's what I want to say to Minister Guilbeault. But it won't be possible because she refuses to meet with us. What is this government that does not listen to the people?
Holy shit.
And Yvonne is not a young lady anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and she is still coming time after time after time to...
And I absolutely want to take a second to praise Yvonne. We've talked a lot about Sharron and how amazing this kid was.
But the apple didn't fall far from
exactly.
the tree.
That she was a product of Yvonne.
Of a great mom.
And so you can see it in how dedicated she is to still fighting for her daughter. And she must have done a lot right.
Yeah.
To have formed such amazing kids. So, just so much love to Yvonne.
Sharron's family and friends still want answers.
Yeah.
The bottom of the front page of SharronPrior.com reads, please, if you have any information relating to this case, please use the private mail function. Mail sent there can only be viewed by the site administrator. You can also send information to our private post office box at CP 28550 CSP de Verdun in Verdun, H4G 3L7. If you would prefer to contact the police directly, please use the contact information below. The most insignificant information might help. And so the contact at the Longueuil Police is Detective Sergeant Stephanie Morin, Service de Police, Agglomération de Longueuil, and the phone number is 450-463-7100, extension 3270. The $10,000 reward has been extended and is still current. So if you know anything at all, anything, please use the contact information we just mentioned or go to SharronPrior.com and do it there.
Almost always somebody does know something. Not necessarily that my husband, my wife, my best friend.
But even if you heard.
But somebody almost always suspects an individual. I watch a lot of, oh God, I can't remember the name of the true crime series. But it's fantastic. It's on.
I can tell you what it's not. Cops.
Yeah. Or that other one that shut
Live
down.
PD.
Yeah, Live PD.
It won't be either of those.
No, it's a true crime show where it's family members of the killers talk.
Yeah.
Be it the wife, the husband, the brother, the sister.
Yep.
And inevitably, they say at the time, no, but I think back now and it's like, oh yeah.
There were big red flags.
There were big red flags. And so inevitably somebody.
Isn't that show hosted by the Happy Face Killer's daughter?
I don't know.
I'm pretty certain it is. I can't remember what.
Because there isn't for this show. There isn't really a host. You don't see the host. You don't see the interviewer. It's always just the. But
maybe I'm thinking of a different show. But
yeah, sounds like a show I'd like to watch. But at the end of the day, somebody is going. If we were to find out who the killer was, somebody in that person's life would go, oh, you know what? I
totally knew that.
My gut was telling me there was something on, So even if you if you think you know something, call the number.
Exactly.
In summation.
Scott being concise.
No.
All right. And that's it for this case. Holy crap.
I'm a little ragey.
Yeah. But you know what? I think we should do some more Unsolveds because there's a lot out there.
And our audience is large and growing, and if we can get it in front of more ears, get the cases in front of more ears, and then that's a great thing.
Yes. So I guess it's time for some voicemails.
Okay.
You can leave us one at 1-877-327-5786 or 1-877-DARK-PTN. And if your call really stands out, we might play it on the show, maybe. But here's one from our friend from the Lumberyard,
okay.
Emily Biananas from the Lumberyard. She promised to leave us one.
Okay.
So here's what she had to say.
Oh, goodness.
Hello, Mike and Scott. This is Emily B. Ananas from Sweden, living in Denmark. You were talking about the phrase shit in your hat, and I came to think about the Swedish expression to shit in the blue cabinet and how it connects in so many ways. During the 19th century, the pigment Prussian blue was available to the masses due to mass production, and suddenly the poor people could paint their furniture as beautiful as the upper classes. So everybody had a blue cabinet, and in that blue cabinet you store your finer stuff like fine linen, silver cutlery, and fine china, stuff like that. And to store your nut pot or take a dump in that cabinet will be a big no-no. This expression was usually used in the eastern part of Sweden until the 1980s, when a movie called Göta kanal hit through Swedish television and movies. And it was the actor Janne Karlsson that used that phrase. He ad-libbed a bit, and then everybody in Sweden started using it. Anyway, Janne Karlsson was a mediocre actor. He was not very known like, the Skarsgård family, but he was a really, really, really good musician. And he had a band in the 60s called Hansson and Karlsson, where Bo Hansson played the Hammond organ and Janne Karlsson played the drums. They jammed a lot with Jimi Hendrix when he was in Sweden, actually, and they played starter band for him in Copenhagen in 67. And Jimi Hendrix used one of their songs called Tax Free, and he used it as an opening act during 67 to 73 about. And yeah, that was my story. I hope you liked it. And go shit in your hat or in the blue cabinet, but that's a big no-no.
Okay, that was amazing. I learned so much.
I had to coax her into doing it because she was a little scared. She called a week prior.
How do you think we feel, Rico?
Right? And I think you did a fantastic job.
That was amazing.
And thank you so much for your support of our show. We just love you to bits.
Oh.
And you know what? Go shit in your blue cabinet.
I think the Swedish accent is my favorite.
Do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I really do. There's just something about it that is just fantastic.
I do like it.
Yeah.
I like European accents all around.
Oh, that voicemail though. That whole I need your Swedish history podcast. Get on it. I would be binging the hell out of that.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was good.
Here's one that's short but sweet.
Hey, Mike and Scott. My name's Finn. I'm 16, and I just want to say your show has changed my life a lot. You guys made me happy. Thanks for entertaining me on my walk. Love you guys. Go shit in your hat.
There you go. That was a nice one.
I love how the translation, instead of go shit in your hat, it says, you guys got a shipment.
You guys got a shit. Yeah, we got a shit shipment from, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That was real. That means a lot to hear that we've had an impact on somebody's life.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I struggle to comprehend how, but that's beautiful. Thank you.
Right? I mean, there are worse things.
For sure. And I'm not shitting in our own hats here, Mike, but, it's just...
right.
To imagine or to believe that my ramblings
have done anything for anybody?
Probably wasn't so much the rambling part that.
Yeah, well, they irritate the shit out of me, though.
Well, good. I'm going to intensify ramblings then.
Fudge.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said anything.
I shouldn't have. This one scared me a little.
Hello, Mike and Scott. It's the clown prince of crime calling all the way from Gotham. A little bird, or maybe a little bat, told me that you knuckleheads had a show. I'd love to put a smile on your face and slay with a joke or two. After all, you can't spell slaughter without laughter. Oh, go shit in your hat, gentlemen. Ta-ta.
So apparently the Joker has given us a call. All the way from Gotham City. Sounds like perhaps he was calling from the payphone in Arkham Asylum.
Oh. And once again, the translation on this was just magic.
Right?
It's like it's translating a different call.
Yeah.
But man, that laugh.
Yes.
That was good.
That was a good Joker.
That was good.
A little birdie also told me that we might be getting a phone call from said Joker, so I'm really glad that it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
That was really good.
Call in anytime you like, Joker.
I don't know if I'll sleep tonight.
Right.
But that was great.
Yeah.
No, that was terrible.
Yeah, your Joker was
no.
Speaking of Mark Hamill, have you heard his Joker in the Batman cartoons?
No.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Hamill does Batman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Does the Joker.
That's what
Batman.
That's what I.
No, you said Mark Hamill does.
Well, I mean, Joker, Batman, potato.
Yeah. Let's listen to another one. Hopefully it's not the Penguin.
Hey, Mike and Scott. It's Jody from The Hammer calling. I was new to podcasts about a year ago, and now I can't go anywhere without listening to them. I'm always happy when you have a new one. I'm trying really hard to not suck balls for too long, because maybe you'll play my call. But either way, I wanted to let you know that I think you have a fabulous show. I absolutely love it, and no matter how dark the topic is, you always finish it off with a smile, and I'm usually laughing to myself when I'm walking. So keep up the great work. Keep being as respectful and kind as you are. You're a great guy. Feel like you're my buddy. And I look forward to one-sided chatting with you every week. I tell you to take a shit in your hat, but it's pretty hot out now and that'd get messy. So have a great week. Love you guys.
Well, thank you, Jody.
So first off, I believe she said suck balls.
Yeah.
Before, I don't want to yeah, you can't count on the translation.
No, our translation software is terrible.
It
transcribes every phone call, and they're actually weirder than the phone calls.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
According to this translation, your name is Donna.
Yep.
So there you go, Donna.
Yeah.
But
it's Donna, and then it says it's Jody.
Yeah. Hi, it's Donna. It's Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you. That was a great voicemail. Another great voicemail.
Yes, it was.
It was. It is hot.
It is. It's sticky in this office right now in our studio.
Shat and Hat would get very.
Oh, I can't imagine. You would definitely need a bidet after, or even a shower.
There's no washing the hat.
No,
that's just a throwaway hat at that point.
That's just a mess.
Yeah, I don't care if it's a top hat. I don't care if it's a wool hat. If it's a toque. You're just with this kind of heat. No, it's just you throw that hat away.
Yeah, but the Joker called us, so
that was cool.
It really was.
Was that? I think mine was closer to Joker.
All right. That sounds like something from one of those Rudolph cartoons, like you remember those old ones
I do the claymation ones.
Yeah, exactly. They're terrible.
Yeah, the Joker. Exactly. That's who it sounded like.
All right. That's it for voicemails. And like we said, if you leave us a good one at 1-877-327-5786 or 1-877-DARK-PTN, we might play it on the show. We might just.
We'll do it.
It's time for some Patreon shout-outs. Let's see if people still like us. I'm pretty certain that we have a few who still are enjoying what we're doing.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Because if I log on and see that 0, if I see that, everybody's bailed.
Sad face.
We suck.
No, it's the economy.
It was the economy.
It's the economy. It was not us.
Yeah.
It's the economy.
Yeah, well.
Fucking economies.
Darn economies.
That'll teach them.
Where do those economies get off?
I don't know.
All right, so first up we have Emma Timmons from Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia.
Oh. Port Hawkesbury.
Port Hawkesbury.
Never heard of it.
What are you talking about? Well, that's right, because you're not from Nova Scotia.
I'm not from Nova Scotia.
What does she do in Port Hawkesbury?
Oh, well, I just happen to know what she does in Port Hawkesbury.
Mm-hmm.
She is a berry farmer.
Oh.
Yeah. Not what you think, though.
Okay.
She has a farm
Yeah.
just chock full of people named Barry.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She wrangles them.
Wrangles dudes
She's
named
got a
Barry.
sheep herder dog who just wrangles all the berries
All
when
the
needed. Ralphie, get him, Ralphie, get those berries.
Round
And
those berries up and get them in the corral.
Round the berries up, and it's just, you see the berry pandemonium.
It's just like a
They're
corral full of berries?
Yeah, they're running around like, oh no, Ralphie's here. And then, it's really, it's hilarious. It accomplishes nothing.
I am asking for help.
The job accomplishes nothing.
Okay.
She can't sell the berries. So
because
I know,
you
so
can't.
I don't really understand why Emma does this, but she does.
She just does it for the love of berry herding.
It's one hell of a passion.
Next we have Sam. Yep. I don't know where Sam's from.
I do.
Where is he from?
Bend,
Oregon?
You got it.
Hey, well, how about that? I've been through there.
Have you?
Yeah, I have.
And did you see Sam?
I didn't see Sam.
No,
I didn't know to look for him. Otherwise, I would have. Had I known that there was a Sam to look for in Bend, Oregon, I would have done it.
You really should have.
I should have.
Sam's fantastic.
And so what does Sam do?
Sam is in control.
You should smell how hard Scott's thinking right now.
Sam manages surface-to-air missiles.
Oh, good.
In Bend, Oregon.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Sam is in charge of the Sam missiles.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's just coincidence.
So maybe that's why Sam didn't give his last name, because he's remaining anonymous.
Yeah, well, or her. I'm not making the decision, and so yes,
I can see the icon. It's a dude in the icon.
Okay, well, all right then, Sam.
I presume it's a dude.
He put a lot of schooling into this, surface-to-air missiles. They don't just give that to any old jockey.
No, fair enough.
No, you've got to have training. You've got your surface-to-air training. And then separately, you got to do the missile training. You don't do them together, oddly. You have to do them separately. But Sam is now the chief coordinating officer of said SAMs. So there you go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Way to be concise again, Scott.
It's what I do.
Next, we have Barbie Stratichuk, and she is from Thorsby, Alberta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Stratichuk.
And what does she do in Thorsby?
Strategizes in Stratichuk.
Oh, well, she's a strategist.
She's a strategist. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
What does she strategize about?
Oh, various things. Okay. She doesn't like to she likes to keep her
beating that horse until it dies.
Yeah, she likes to keep her option the jack of all trades, master of none.
Sure.
That's the focus. So just whatever strategies need to be strategized. Boom.
She's there. She's just that kind of strategist.
Very, very diverse.
And we have another person with Chuck in their last name.
Oh.
This is Gail Kowalchuk.
Kowalchuk? I wonder if any relation to the hockey player, Keith Kowalchuk.
Really? Do you think?
I don't know. That's why
I don't know where Gail's from.
Oh. Well, it's a good thing I do.
Where is she from?
Minnesota.
Yeah, that might make sense. Yep.
Yeah, they got
sure.
Hockey there.
There's some Chucks there.
Yeah, the Minnesota North Stars, or is it the Wild? No, I don't know. What the hell are they? I don't even know.
They're the Minnesota Wild, Scott.
Yeah. Well, they should have been the North Stars because that's originally what they were, and then they went to Dallas.
Oh,
but I digress.
It's something you do often.
If you're wondering what she does,
what does she do?
It's a great question.
Oh boy!
Thankfully, I'm gonna answer it.
Yep.
In just a few short seconds.
Mm-hmm.
She's a driving instructor.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she teaches only Zamboni driving.
And in reverse.
How do you? So you know her?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
She has YouTube videos.
She does. They've tens of hundreds of views.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. They're popular in the Zamboni circles.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And next we have Michelle Ashley Kolich, I think. I don't want to mispronounce it and call her Colic because colicky,
Well, yeah, you don't
It might be correct, though.
It might be.
So Michelle Ashley is from my hometown, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Whoa.
How about them apples?
How about them?
My birth town, I
Your
should say.
birth town.
Yeah, I was born there.
Yeah.
Born there.
Born there?
Yep. And so what does Michelle do in Halifax?
Halifax.
Does she work at the Metro Center?
She prevents explosions.
Well, that is needed in that city.
That's why they created the job.
And they haven't had one ever since she's been doing it.
Fucking amazing at it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, way to go, Michelle.
Keep it up.
Or as they say, good on you.
Good on you.
Back there.
Yeah, good on you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Keeping them explosions down.
That's some good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Jen Proul.
Oh, hi, Jen.
And I don't know where Jen's from.
Jen is from, we were talking about it earlier.
Bend, Oregon?
Sweden.
Oh, she's from Sweden.
Yeah.
Which part of Ormskulvik, where the Sedins are from?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So is she like a personal assistant to like Marcus Naslund or somebody?
You would think so.
Okay.
No.
She's personal assistant to the chef.
How did you know that's not what she does?
What doesn't she do?
That.
Okay. What does she do then?
Oh, what does she do? She's in lawn maintenance.
Oh, she maintains lawns.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's got to do it.
They had a lot of lawns in Sweden. It was a good decision. It was a good call.
Sure.
Keep you busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next we have Taylor Charlton, and I don't know where Taylor's from.
Oh, Taylor is from Oslo.
Oh, Norway.
Yeah.
Very close to... See, Scott's creativity only goes so far. It has to stay in Scandinavia once he's there.
It's not my fault that they live there.
Okay.
I didn't write the rules of living.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. What does she do there?
Oh, great question.
In Oslo.
I'm really glad you asked. She's a conflict resolutioner.
Okay.
Yep. Specifying an infant conflict. So if there's like two 1-year-olds
fighting,
she's the one who comes.
Does she kind of referees?
Like Brian, let's talk about this. The tantrum, and she's like, she's just like,
so
no.
See, I was thinking of just giving them bats and just like go at it.
Sometimes that is what's required. She tells me about those experiences. They don't end well.
Well, that's
but
sad.
sometimes that's what that's what needs to be done. But very rarely does her sessions end with any resolution.
There you go.
Because
she's not good at her job.
Well, they're 1-year-olds.
Right.
What the fuck
they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Next we have Cassandra Langdon.
Oh.
And she's from Oshawa, Ontario.
Oshawa.
The Schwa, as my friend...
What a terrible name.
As my friend Paul calls it, the dirty Schwa.
That is just the word.
He's going to the dirty Schwa.
That is...
Paul's also the radio guy who calls up Carol and says, panties.
As he should.
Yeah, because that word bugs her.
Yeah, and moist.
Yeah, exactly. So Cassandra, what does she do in the Schwa?
Oh, in the Schwa, she is a bush wrangler.
Oh, she wrangles bushes. Yeah. Like George W. and
no.
I thought we were going the same way as we went before.
No. They're
actual bushes, but bushes don't move, so they don't require a lot of wrangling.
In the Schwa, they do. That's why she lives there.
They're just wandering around.
They have this exactly. They're called the wandering shrubs.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, and
I think.
They move very slow. They move very slow, so it's very. You've got to have a lot of patience.
They're slinky.
Well, I don't know if I'd call them slinky. Shifty, sure. Shifty shrubs.
Shifty shrubs.
Yeah. And so she just, she wrangles them, make sure that they don't go where they're not supposed to be.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's great.
It really is.
It really is great.
It really is. I'm happy about it.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Next we have Hellcatter.
Whoa.
And Hellcatter is from Bangor in Great Britain.
Hellcatter?
Yes.
I hope that's a real name. That's magical.
Isn't that great?
That's magical.
And I don't know what Hellcatter does.
Hellcatter is a preacher.
Oh, a preacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She was inspired by her first name.
Is it a she or sure?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm absolutely not.
Okay.
But in my mind.
Okay. Fair enough.
she's
So Hellcatter is a preacher, and what does the preacher do? What does
Preach.
Is it a Christian preacher or is it?
Yeah. It's because of the first name, Hell, that she was like, everybody's going to assume I'm gonna just run roughshod.
I bet you the specialty is cat exorcism.
Wow, you're reading my mind.
I did read your mind right there.
My goodness.
Right?
My goodness.
Kitty cat exorcism.
Oh, my goodness.
My cats need exorcism at 4 a.m. Get the hell out of my bedroom.
You need to exercise them from your room.
Yeah, that's what happened this morning. Donner got a bit of exorcism.
Oh,
he gets gently exercised. We don't angrily exercise the
you
cats.
don't want to angrily exercise
because
anything.
I don't want to scare him. He's the kind of kitty who, if you scare him, he would just never come around you again. So I gently exercise him from the door and then put him on the other side of it.
You're good like that.
Apparently. Next we have Sheila Rowe, and I don't know. She hasn't given a mailing address, so I'm not sure where she's from.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, Dusseldorf.
Oh, Dusseldorf in Germany.
Yep.
Are you sure it's not Dusseldorf in
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh?
No, it's not. It's not the Pittsburgh
neighborhood. Dusseldorf.
Yeah, it's not the Pittsburgh Dusseldorf.
Well, there you go. So what does she do in Dusseldorf, Germany?
As one would do in Dusseldorf, Germany, she is
I'm cringing.
strudel maker.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I love strudel.
Who doesn't?
Toaster strudel especially is yummy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had?
I don't know.
Oh, you should.
If it has sugar, I've probably had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what Sheila does.
There you go.
Yeah, she makes what did I say she makes? Strudels.
In
Yes.
Dusseldorf.
Yeah, and they're delicious. Send us some, Sheila. Send us some of your strudels because we would like to devour them.
And here we have a good friend of ours, Cheryl Higgins.
Hey, Cheryl Higgins.
And she's from Truro Heights, Nova Scotia.
Oh. Wow.
Do you recognize the name?
I do.
Yeah, there you go. Because we spoke to her.
For the...
it was a rough time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
And I know that you're a teacher.
Yeah.
So she is nice.
She is a kind.
Cheryl is very nice.
She is a kind face.
I've had good conversations with her. She's a good egg, as they say. So yeah. So this was the only time ever that I've actually known the persons.
Yeah.
Where they lived.
Yeah.
And what they do.
Which is just unusual.
Well, yeah.
Because it's my bag.
And lastly, as far as Patreons go, we have Jessica Rains from Brandon, Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what does she do in Mississippi?
Rain catcher.
She catches rain.
Yep. And how do you think one would do that?
With a bucket.
Yeah, lots of running around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to catch each
like
individual.
Every drop.
Yeah, tries to.
Especially when it's really wet and humid.
That's the goal. The goal is you want to try to get every
That's
drop.
a lot of rain to catch.
I know, with a fucking bucket.
Is it a big bucket, though?
It's not, actually.
Oh, God.
It's not. It's not a job.
She should ask for an upgrade.
Oh, she should find a new job, really.
Yeah, it's not a good job.
I mean, yeah, and it doesn't even pay well. Like, it's just, there's no pros to this, really.
Ah, well.
But, hey, who am I to...
Right.
I'm just some podcast guy.
And, okay, let's move on to Donut Money.
Boop, boop.
This week, Irene Briand again. Oh. Thank you very much, Irene.
Thank you, Irene.
And we know that Irene is a monkey wrangler.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in Peru. I thought it was.
Yeah, forget.
Yeah, I do too. And Sally Norris, of course, related to Chuck Norris.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, she sends more donut money with 2 donuts saying, many thanks, always Sally N. And I was chatting with her the other day, so she's quite nice.
Clearly.
And then we have some donut money from Courtney Palmer.
Wow.
You guys,
Courtney.
She says, you guys make me so happy. I love listening to the podcast and ending the heavy episode with Scott's crazy antics. Wait a minute, aren't my antics crazy?
All I'm doing is speaking facts.
Well, it's true.
There's nothing crazy about what I'm doing. I'm just speaking facts.
And she says here, I mean his highly truthful stories.
There we go. So she recognizes.
Wink, you guys. Okay, well, thank you very much, Courtney.
She recognizes.
She is.
As they say in the streets, Mike, game recognize game.
Yeah. And then she says, you guys have mastered giving all of the facts, even the uncomfortable, especially dark ones, with care and compassion and a dash of humor sprinkled in where appropriate. Get some Timmy's tea on me until my first Patreon comes in. Keep it up, gents. Wow. Thanks, Courtney.
Courtney, that's really kind.
Two little black hearts,
yeah.
Just like ours, dead and black.
Cold, black, dead hearts. But they keep beating.
Well, there you go, for some reason.
Yeah.
Haven't died yet.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, well.
Is this solid oak?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's like particle board. So thank you so much to our patrons and donut money donators, past and present. We really appreciate your support of the show. If you want to help support us, you can do so at patreon.com/darkpoutine. Or for a one-time support, you can send us donut money via PayPal at our email address, darkpoutinepodcast@gmail.com. If you don't already, it would mean a lot to us if you've subscribed to the show. You can easily find us on iTunes Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, or wherever you get your on-demand audio. Check out darkpoutine.com for show notes and other cool stuff. Give us a like or a follow on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Dark Poutine. Most importantly, thank you for listening. And tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is a powerful thing. And before we go, we have a promo this week.
Oh.
And I have to find the promo.
Make sure you are all be donators. Don't be don't haters. Get it?
Don't haters?
Yeah, I get it, because it's like sounds like donators.
Okay.
But it's not. It's don't haters.
Okay.
Oh my God! I just came up with that.
Yeah, it's very bad.
I just came up with that, and people are gonna love it.
People are probably not gonna love it very much.
It's gonna catch on. Everybody's gonna say, "Don't be a hater, be a donator." Yeah.
All right.
Slogans galore.
So here is our promo this week, and it is from our friends at the Bloody Murder Podcast.
Ooh, bloody murder.
Yeah, let's hear what they have to say.
Better be bloody murder.
Is listening to true crime podcasts all the time getting you down, but you just can't stop?
Try listening to Bloody Murder.
We're an Australian comedy true crime podcast focusing on some of the lesser-known murder cases from Australia and around the globe.
We use black comedy as a means to tell horrifying true crime stories.
But our humour is respectful and never at the expense of victims or their loved ones.
We get straight into the case with no banter or chit-chat beforehand.
That's because the podcast is about true crime, not our most recent manicure.
But this frosted French salmon is such a great colour on me.
Is it?
Our fresh, well-researched episodes are released every Monday.
Bloody Murder has been nominated for 4 Australian Podcast Awards.
We've been going for over 3 years now.
So we have loads of episodes for you to binge.
You can listen to Bloody Murder on Spotify and any of your favourite podcatchers.
Well, thank you, folks. That's awesome.
It's bloody murder.
It's bloody murder. Hello, nice lady and nice man.
It's bloody murder.
Yeah, in your water box and doing things. So make sure you go over to the Bloody Murder Podcast. You hear me? Yeah.
Didgeridoo.
Yeah. You know what to do with your didgeridoo.
Put it in your koala.
Anyway, until next week, don't forget to be a good egg and not a bad apple.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.